Hey, good morning, y'all. Today I've got something fun and special to share with you. One of my friends who is a furniture maker has invited me to see how he puts chairs, old-time style chairs, together. So let's go in his shop and see what's going on.
Always something.
So what you're seeing right here are all pieces of a tree. I'm sorry that I didn't get to see the first part because what Ira does is actually takes the tree and shapes each of these components of the chair, and it's a long process, but we're at the place now where he's going to start assembling. So come on over there in just a second.
Those are air dried. The rungs are kiln dried. It's just a heat lamp.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It goes for about overnight usually. Is enough to bring it down, moisture down below the room moisture. They stay in this bag to keep them from swelling up.
Mm-hmm. They will take the moisture back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the top rung is thicker to give it more strength, and then the side rungs.
The middle and the bottom rung are
Same side.
5/8. They don't need to be. You're not going in all the way. It's a real snug fit.
Mm-hmm. Final tightening up using a clamp gets the rungs to go all the way into the frame.
Yeah, that popping noise is the rung going in.
Mm-hmm.
It's tight.
Yeah.
I've never had one come apart.
And what kind of wood? What tree was this?
This is a red oak.
Red oak.
It's a slow growing red oak, which is, it's better to have a fast growing one. But you get what you get.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky to get it.
And this is the other half. He's already put this one together. I'll show you in just a second how that goes. Left and a right to the chair. Okay.
And it won't work the other way.
That's the tricky part.
Okay, before it's all the way. I'm gonna twist the chair if it wasn't. This one is.
Okay, so it's parallel. Okay, cool.
Let's see if we can get it going anymore. It's a real good idea not
Yeah. If you got hit with that thing, that would hurt.
Yeah.
So out of this tree, how long was the section of the tree that you got?
I had four 4-foot sections. I had 16 feet. I'm getting 9 chairs. It wasn't a big tree. It was about 1.5 foot, 2-foot diameter base.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I'm lucky if I get 12 feet. That's about what it'll look like.
Okay,
You don't
so
get-
there's the left and the right side because they flare out at the top.
Yeah, the mortises are for the slats. If you don't get these angles right, you'll have these things going off in different directions. And the chair won't look very good. This one's pretty good.
This one on this side, this is the front post, and this will get cut to match this one
Well,
later.
they both get cut. All my measurements are on this stick right here. It's pretty faded, so it's hard to see. It has all the measurements for the chair,
Huh.
so you can see. These are the side rungs. They're above my line. And the front and back rungs are below the line but slightly above, so that they actually intersect and lock together.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the height of the front post right here
Okay, so
on
that's,
that line.
they just get a little bit
Just gets a little cut off.
of a trim.
Yep.
Huh.
This has where the bend is for the back post. It's right here. That's where the bend is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mortises for the
For the slats.
which I do on a router. I used to cut them by hand, but I kind of like to make a little money when I'm making these chairs, just a little. So
Yeah, this is a
can't do it that way
long project.
without charging way more than my customers will spend.
So these are the sides for 3 of the chairs that he's already put together. Toilet
Madison
Seat
County.
Jig by Drew Langsner. Huh.
So I'm going to take just a little bit off the top so I can see the grain.
Mm-hmm.
The chair has to go together at certain angles. This will be the left front leg. This is left front of the jig, and the grain, the center of the tree, which was this way, is going to point to the center of the chair. And right here is where I'm going to be drilling my holes. And I'm making a mark for the bottom of the hole and a little circle to remind me to drill on top of the hole, not below, so because I confuse easily. Okay. I try to look to see where the center of the tree was. Usually these growth rings are easier to see. This one could be either way, but I think it's this way. That's the center of the tree, and this is the right leg,
Front.
right front.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So that's going to go over here.
I'm going to point the growth rings parallel to the center of the chair, and then go on the side here. Okay, let's mark the front. We have the right post on the right side.
So,
Or in this case, the left post on the left side. So this flat needs to be parallel to that cut right there
okay.
on the jig.
On the jig, okay.
Rough approximation.
And again, these, you're marking these to cut or drill the holes for the dowels above the line.
Yes. Sighting down it, make it parallel to the jig. And giving me a mark in the direction the rungs need to face. So I need these parallel, horizontal.
And does that have a stop on it, or you just know?
Yes, it does.
It's got a stop.
It's got a little dowel that's stuck in there.
Ah, okay.
It's the stop, yeah. Didn't come that way.
Yeah, you fixed it. So, right now in your life, what practices make you flourish?
Right now, it's doing this. I really like it. And hiking.
And hiking.
I like to hike. I like to be out in the woods. I don't have to get it down. The other rungs are 5/8. This is probably around 3/4.
Doing this, you will never run out of kindling.
No, there's this bag of it over there.
Yup.
You can take some if you want. This is totally hidden underneath the seat, so I don't have to be as fussy on this either.
But you're getting the high points off so that it's actually rounded. Rustic, but rounded.
Yeah. Even though you don't see it, I still like to make it look nice. And the light on the side casts a shadow so I can see better. With the overhead lamp, I can't see. I need that shadow.
Right.
And there's the top rung. Now, the rungs get oriented by the grain. These are the growth rings. And the rays are barely visible. They go this way. So you want to cut a notch perpendicular to the growth rings. On both sides. What the notch does is when the rung swells up, the wood swells into that notch, and the post kind of locks it in, gives it a little extra to hold it in. Okay. This one's harder to see because it's rough, but it should be in the same place as the other one. There's the growth rings coming that way, barely visible. Whether this is really necessary or not, I don't know. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier, none of your furniture has ever come apart, so I would say
Yeah,
it's good.
I never had a problem with the chairs coming apart. Needless to say, the knife is really sharp,
Yeah, have to be.
and the wood is really hard.
Yeah, well, it's oak.
And it goes back in the bag to keep it from absorbing moisture. Okay, this is the second top rung.
Here we go.
Good practice probably says to lift the spokeshave whenever you turn stroke, so you don't drag the back of the blade. It's much too slow. So I just end up sharpening the blade a little more to make up for it. You can see the shadow it's cast, and how it highlights an area that's not smooth. It's a little bit too thick in the middle here.
Do you know offhand how many chairs you've actually made?
This batch will bring me up to around 250.
That's a lot of chairs. I have lost count of how many seats I've actually put in. I need to go back in and see if I can figure that out at some
Way
point.
more than 250, I'm sure. This only gets done. Chair making is something I do every few years, it seems like.
Well, you got to get the right tree, so that's part of it.
Yeah, and I have to eat the rest of the time, so I do wood, I do carpentry or furniture. Hard to see.
Okay, 2 down and 4 to go. So these pieces right here, these will be the slats for the back of the chair. He hasn't started to work these up yet, so that will be another part of this video. Slats will be made to fit into these notches. The spokes have all been shaped and trimmed, and the dowel ends have been cut. And now Ira's getting ready to put the holes into the legs. So we're gonna go over there.
So that it's equal distance above and below it. So I'm rotating it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, yeah, one hole here, and one here.
Okay. And this is going to be noisy too, I bet.
This isn't too
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm gonna lean down and center it, top and bottom, so it's equal amount of wood. Right there. And I'm using my level here. Kind of eyeball perpendicular. And this doesn't clear chips, the nature of the bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I like other bits, the power bores.
Oh, wow, you can smell the oak fragrance. It's so good.
About far enough. So if that's reading horizontal, this one will be horizontal. It'll be in line with each other. Gotta raise this up. And go that way a little bit.
I'm looking for the bubble. There it is. Woohoo.
This big drill is overkill, but it's the only one I've got. Okay, lining it up to the pencil mark, centering it, leveling it.
Mm-hmm.
Perpendicular, I just eyeball. The drill's perpendicular to the post.
Mm-hmm. All right, one done, and then one to go. Trim off where the
Yeah, it's actually easier to trim off when it's put together. You can cut those loose fibers off,
Mm-hmm.
but they kind of get in the way.
Yep.
But then we're going to actually.
So now this is the back of the chair. So he just finished the holes for the front of the chair, and now he's got to.
So this jig goes right where at the bottom of the dado for the
Slats.
rungs. Slats, sorry. Okay, a little too tight. Okay.
And this is a special jig inside the vise to hold the legs. And then
So
same thing.
That pencil mark ended up pretty darn close.
Mm.
Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. It's like, I get that centered.
certain smell of oak. It's sort of
Yeah.
acrid kind of.
Yeah. If it actually cleared if it cleared the shavings, I wouldn't have to back it out all the time.
Different kind of
It
bit.
doesn't. It's the Flossner bit, and they don't like to be deep.
Top one. The next one, there's only two. Here's the little jig. It's got taping, cloth taping, so it can be opened and cleaned and adjusted to fit the rungs that are gonna go inside of it. So, because the glue is different.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
grabs it.
Yeah, now watch out for the gorillas.
Get this in it all. That's a heavy hammer too.
Yeah. So this brings us full circle to the first part of the video that I was filming based on when I arrived in my friend's shop. So now he's going to use the clamp to squeeze it together perfectly. Whoops,
Yep.
slippery. Adorable little wood stove with squirrel nutkin on it. Beatrix Potter stove.